And right now it's time for that time when we talk to our special guest. Tonight our special guest is writer and investigator Ian Wishart. Ian is here tonight to talk about the health industry and his brand new book, Show Me the Money, Honey. Be watching tonight to win a copy. Ian Wishart, welcome to The Beat Goes On. Good to see you, Ian. Now, ever since you left the studio the last time, Ian, you got to your word processor and you just never stopped until you had the brand new book, which is Show Me the Money, Honey.
Indeed.
Wow. Well, where's the money, Ian? I'm looking for the money.
The book is it's a must-read for baby boomers, particularly because what it does, I've looked at the truth about natural supplements and whether they work or not. But in doing so, I was studying all the medical science reports and so on, the latest ones on the natural health products we take each day. But to understand whether they worked, you had to understand the core problems of the diseases they were supposed to be working against. So I looked at heart disease, cholesterol, salt, the whole 9 yards, cancer and so forth. What I discovered is there's a massive, massive debate taking place behind the scenes in medical circles about what to tell the public. Because what they've discovered is that everything that we thought we knew about health and healthy living turns out to be a crock.
Well, let's just pause there. You are so right. You and I are growing up and we're told this and told this. Years go by. It's an article in the paper saying that everything that we used to think is now no longer relevant. How many times has that happened? And you're onto it, aren't you?
It's like turning around the Titanic. That you can see the news filters through, and it takes a while for it to sort of gain momentum in the public eye.
Yeah.
And what we've got here is, take for example salt.
Yes.
There will be thousands of people watching this and listening to this who are on low salt diets because either their doctors recommended it or their partners recommended it or they think it's healthy for them. The World Health Organization has put a new policy in place requiring less than 2 grams of sodium a day, which is equivalent to 1 teaspoon of salt in total. But it turns out, according to the medical science, that all of this is wrong. If you have a diet that low in salt, you probably will die. And the Ministry of Health in New Zealand is pushing that dramatically as the new target, and that's why they're going for a salt tax to cut the amount of salt in food.
Well, who came up with the original?
It was based on some science dating back to the early 1900s, and they tested it in the 1980s and 1990s and said, we know that salt is related to blood pressure. We know that high blood pressure can kill, so we figure if we lower salt, we'll save lives. And they took a guesstimate. They literally plucked numbers out of the air and guessed how many lives they could save. All the health bureaucrats around the world thought, we can get onto this, and they pushed it as policy. But it turns out that the original experiments were wrong. Sodium has a minor impact on blood pressure. But it turns out, you won't know this, but 0.5% of your body weight is salt.
0.5%?
Yeah, because your blood's full of salt. Your body needs salt. We have about 69, 70, 75 teaspoons of salt flowing through our systems at any given moment in time. So when you have a teaspoon or two of salt a day, it's not much in the great scheme of things, and your body needs it to replenish what's lost through sweat and bleeding and other bodily functions. And what they found is that the concentration by doctors on salt, lowering your salt to lower your blood pressure, was sort of a single focus, and they weren't seeing the wood for the trees. And the wood for the trees is that salt is used by our hormone system to balance our hormones naturally. If you don't have your salt levels correct, your hormones go wild. You also have a higher risk of other diseases and dying from those. So what they've done the clinical trials. They've gone back and looked at the old data and they said, okay, the scientists made a mistake when they interpreted it. You're actually, and here's a classic case. They gave some heart patients who'd already suffered heart failure the recommended low salt diet to boost their health. And they allowed another set of heart patients with the same condition to just eat their normal salt intake. The ones who were put on the low salt diet were 3 times more likely to be dead within 4 years than the people taking high amounts of salt. So the whole salt story that you've been sold is a crock.
Now, and the other, look, you've got it on the front of the book, salt, sugar, fats. Let's go with fats, and then we'll talk about sugar, for instance, because there seems to be a campaign against sugar at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, well, sugar itself is an evil product.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It's processed sugar.
Right, well, that one, but let's
I'll tell you
talk about fats. All of us, cholesterol and flats.
Baby boomers growing up would have been familiar with mums cooking with butter and lard and dripping and so on. And, meat and 3 veg and the whole 9 yards. Then
all the cholesterol.
Then we were all told, you've got to go low cholesterol, all this animal fat is really bad for you, saturated fat is terrible for you, you've got to go low fat or polyunsaturated vegetable oil. So you've seen these spread of all these vegetable oils through cooking oils and so forth in the supermarket, You've even seen margarines boasting that they can lower your cholesterol, and people are taking them to lower their cholesterol. And everyone's obsessed with lowering their cholesterol, right?
Not true.
Not true.
Yeah.
Again, it comes back down to this problem is that we've now found through clinical trials that people with ideal low cholesterol are more likely to die young, because having high cholesterol protects you from cancer and a range of other diseases. So again, the singular focus on cholesterol, heart disease, missed the entire wood for the trees. We're not balancing ourselves properly. So having a high cholesterol level is actually healthier for you than having a low ideal doctor's recommended cholesterol level. So all of those people watching this on statin drugs and taking natural supplements to reduce their cholesterol, perhaps using the margarine spread saying we can lower your cholesterol, read the book, because this is crucial to your health. Quite literally, people are dying young if they lower their cholesterol levels, because again it messes up their system. So, and this then comes back down to the balance of fats. We chucked out animal fats and we went for the polyunsaturated vegetable oils. Clinical trials are now showing those oils are more dangerous for our health than animal fats. So all these healthy oils we're eating, like rice bran and so forth, avoid them like the plague.
Really? Well, what a shock this must have been when you discovered all this. I mean, everything you ever believed in.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, I haven't touched butter in 35 years.
Yeah.
I've avoided. I've been a margarine consumer.
Because of
all this, the good health, low your cholesterol levels and so forth. We've all had the thumbprint test in the supermarkets and the malls and so on.
So your first taste of butter, what was it like after 35 years?
Well, it tasted like butter.
Yeah. You should have rushed out and got some butter.
Funny they made it more spreadable and easily.
More spreadable.
Because the fridges don't have the butter conditioners anymore.
Now, you did mention that sugar is...
Sugar is a carbohydrate, and processed sugar that we eat is the problem. And this is what happened. Is the recommendation was from the 50s, 60s and 70s to go low fat, high carb. The logic was that carbs could be burnt off quite quickly and you didn't store as fat. Well, it's not true. The carbs are what's causing us to get autoimmune diseases, causing us to get diabetes, causing us to get heart disease, whereas the fats are more long-term issues and they're actually quite healthy for us. So those people in the clinical trials, and this is the beauty of this book, there's 350 studies cited in here, peer-reviewed medical studies, clinical trials, and they found that replacing your carbohydrates with animal fats is healthier for you than having sugars and starch and all the rest of it.
Now, I'm curious about the title, Show Me the Money, Honey. Where did that come from?
Well, one of the last chapters in the book is about Manuka honey, which is a bit of debate about the moment because the Australians are wanting to market their honey as Manuka honey as well. And honey, it turns out to be a medicine chest in a teaspoon, really. It covers a whole range of nasties. It beats every single known superbug. So those superbugs that you go to hospital with and get in flesh-eating diseases, you put honey over the top of them, the superbugs die. There's not a bacteria on the planet so far that's been found to be able to resist Manuka honey. So it's this incredible antibiotic. Unfortunately, it only works topically, so you can't eat it and boost your antibacterial levels that way.
But if you have a cut or something
if you have a cut, which is in this post-antibiotic world, they're the sort of things that can kill you. So if you do have, it's ideal first aid is to have Manuka honey in the cupboard, spread a bit of Manuka honey on the cut and let it kill the bacteria straight away.
So the title, Show Me the Money, Honey?
Yeah, honey's $1 billion earner for New Zealand, so it's a fantastic product. But other natural supplements didn't serve so well in the book. For example, resveratrol, which we've all heard so much about.
Yeah, that's supposedly in wine.
Yeah, in wine, and they thought that was the reason for the beneficial effects of red wine in the diet. But resveratrol performed well in animal studies, but in the human clinical trials, which I put in the book, it's failed miserably. It gives you an energy boost about half an hour after you take it, but it's got a very, very short half-life. It disappears out of your system within about half an hour. And it doesn't linger long enough to give you any long-lasting health benefits. So resveratrol is great for energy boosting, quick energy boost. It doesn't seem to do anything else for you. It's just, lolly water. But on the other hand, vitamin C might kill cancer. So,
well, what I'm saying is that I'm surrounded by people who are so scornful of McDonald's and fast food. They've become zealots, preachers, evangelizers. They think they know everything about the diet. So if I say, look, I'm going to go off and get a Big Mac, they fall apart with, they react in horror. How wrong are they? I want you to tell me they're very wrong.
Well, they are reasonably wrong. I mean, we feed our kids a takeaway treat once a week, usually McDonald's or KFC. But the trick to it we've found is that you cut out the sugary drinks. You just give them pump water. Our kids are as healthy and lean. I mean, one of them just won the one of the regional cross country championships for his age group in Auckland, and the other one is he almost made the provincial rugby team for his year. So he's a healthy kid. Our kids aren't big. They eat the takeaways, but they're not having the sugary drinks. And we find this goes back to this whole issue of sugar. Sugar and carbohydrates are what pack on the weight, pack on the unhealthy aspects. So if you manage to avoid those and just eat a meal.
There's a lot of carbohydrates in the bread, isn't there?
There are, and processed food is not the best for you. Fresh food is better. But McDonald's burger or any other burger has got your fruit and vegetables. It's got meat and protein. It's got carbohydrates, so it's a reasonably balanced meal if you don't eat the stuff in excess.
Ian, you are flying in the face of perceived knowledge, aren't you, with a book like this? What sort of reaction are you getting from these zealots, as I call them?
I've had
food zealots.
I've had devastating silence from the medical profession. I think they're still digesting it. But as I said, this is not Ian Wishart speaking. This is
research.
350 peer-reviewed medical studies from this year going backwards. And quite literally, the headlines of some of these studies, what do we tell our patients? Because they've realised that 40 years of health policy and advice from doctors to the public is wrong. And when you look through the book, when you read the studies and you find out that you've got triple the risk of dying young if you follow your doctor's advice, you start to realise that this is something every baby boomer needs to read because we're all in that boat.
Just say that again. That's marvellous. If you follow your
doctor's advice,
you've
then
got triple
the risk of dying young. and that's, and I don't say that lightly. I mean, it sounds farcical, but but they know that behind the scenes now. There's this massive debate publicly about, behind the scenes, about what we should tell the public. Because it is a highly controversial issue. So this is the first book to sort of put it into easily digestible bits and pieces. And the reaction I've been getting from people who've read it, we can't put it down. Others are calling it a must-read. So it is reaching through.
There's another magic word on the page. It's called chocolate. I do like my hot chocolate.
Oh, you're in luck. You're in luck. Chocolate. There used to be a chain of restaurants, there still may be, called Death by Chocolate. Yeah. And I called the chapter in the book Life by Chocolate because what it turns out is that chocolate protects your heart. It helps you lose weight.
Wow.
If you take chocolate in moderation,
I should be very skinny.
It contains a chemical that actually helps you burn fat.
Yeah.
And so it's protective of that. And for women watching this in particular,
you like that bar of chocolate every day?
A bar of chocolate, dark chocolate this is.
Only dark chocolate?
Dark chocolate's the best for you.
I don't like dark chocolate.
Well, you might have to find a dark chocolate brand that you like, because what it does is it contains chemicals that reverse aging at a cellular level and take away wrinkles. So it's not just a random test. This was a clinical trial of chocolate over a period of months and on test subjects, double-blind and so forth, and they found that those women taking chocolate over that regular time, they lost wrinkles. And they became younger biologically. Their cells stopped aging as fast. So it is the Indians in South America call it the fountain of youth, and they'd be right.
You have to have this book, don't you?
You've got to read the book. That's right.
You've said so many wonderful trigger things.
There's some good news in that book for people. Yeah. There really is.
Look, we're going to give some of these books away, but first of all, you also you've got an update on elementary.
Yeah. Elementary we spoke about at the start of the year when I did the big Elementary book 1 on the Scott Watson case. Elementary 2 is sort of to really sort of nail it home in a very easy to read fashion, and the difference between this book and the first one is it develops parts of the story that I hadn't had a chance to get into. But also, the one thing I found that everyone was raising was, well, what did the 3 witnesses on the water taxi who were with Ben and Olivia say? And everyone has got theories, and they're quoting a friend of a friend of a friend who heard that Guy Wallace said such and such, or Hayden Morrissey on the water taxi said such and such. This book contains the original police witness statements of the key people who were the last to see Ben and Olivia alive, so that what you actually get is unfiltered. It's not in my words, it's not in any other journalist's words. This is directly what those witnesses told police they saw and whether they saw a catch or not. When you read the evidence in that book, it'll very quickly become clear to you that Scott Watson is as guilty as sin. Now, the thing that I'm doing today is a special just for Beat Goes On listeners, is you can have, if you visit our website, ianwishartbooks.com, for a limited time, you can just register for free. We'll give you some information on, there's a free download on that you can get when you register. So you get a free gift when you register on the website, and then we'll send you some information and a special deal. You can both of these books for the price of one. So
Wow.
they're normally $39 each. Get them both for $39 plus freight.
Okay, 3 of our lucky viewers, because 2 great books. If you email Jared at The Beat Goes On and give me the magic answer, which will be coming up, the question will be coming up soon, you could win. 3 of our lucky viewers can each win 2 books. Always gets very complicated, that, doesn't it?
It
So
does.
now we need that highly intelligent question, Ian.
Highly intelligent question. What sweet tasting thing do I cover in the book?
I'd say it would be chocolate.
I think you'd be right.
Yeah, okay. Just in case it's too sweet, you know. So, viewers, there's the magic question, and the answer in the subject line, please, when you send the email for the 2 books, in the subject line put the word chocolate. And
It'll
you could
change your
win.
life. It'll literally, I haven't met anyone who's read this book yet. It hasn't changed their life. It's changed their life.
Very generous. Thank you, Ian.
No worries.
And it's always wonderful to have you as a guest.
A
You're
pleasure to
always
be
full
here.
of knowledge and some wonderful new ideas.
We
What
could,
would
we
we
could,
do
we
without
could,
Ian
look,
Wishart? That's what I want
we
to know.
could speak for days about this. I was staggered. You know, you could knock me over the feather with the sort of stuff I was finding out, and particularly about the natural supplements and what works and what doesn't. There's some fantastic stuff in there about natural supplements that actually do, in clinical trials, kill cancer. And that's a must read for people who're looking at that as well.
Great. Ian, we're going to see you on the next book.
You will.
Any clues? What are you typing at the moment? on
I'm
your
trying to
word
take.
processor?
It's September now. It's spring. I am looking for a break leading up to Christmas, and then we'll be back into the new year.
Wow. No clue.
No clue.
No clue. But you are working on something.
I am working on something. If I told you, I'd have to shoot you.
Good way to commit suicide. Ian, thanks once again.
All the best.
Bye.